We recently got a question from one of our Homeowner Prep clients asking should they use a credit union or a traditional bank to buy their first home. So, in today's episode, we're going to cover some of the pros and cons of using a credit union. Welcome to the Homeowner Prep podcast, where every week we educate and encourage aspiring homeowners to help them buy their first home faster. If you aspire to own a home, you're in the right place, so enjoy. Do us a favor and leave a review, a rating, and be sure to subscribe. Now let's get to this week's episode. Hey, real quick before we start, I want to ask you a question. How long are you going to wait before you decide to get started? You want to buy a house and you're earning income, so what's holding you back? Visit our website at homeownerprep.com/start. You can take an online assessment and set up a free 30-minute call, and we're going to put a plan together to help you get from where you are to where you truly want to be. So don't let fear hold you back from buying your first home. All right, now back to the episode. Hello and welcome to the Homeowner Prep podcast. I'm your host, Eric Halan. Today we're going to be answering a question that we got recently from a Homeowner Prep client, and they were asking should they talk to their credit union about buying their first home. I know oftentimes we talk about, using a bank or a loan brokerage that can offer some mini solutions to you when you're buying your first home. And so I really wanted to cover this because I think others may have a similar or the same question, especially if they have an established relationship with their current bank or credit union. So on this week's episode, we're going to cover some of the pros and some of the cons of using a credit union. And I'm going to let you know exactly what we told this client. There's great advice in banking. When you're looking to establish a banking relationship, oftentimes you'll hear, hey, go open up an account with a credit union. And that's because a credit union will often give you the financing for some of your first purchases. Let's say if you're just starting to open a savings account or you're looking to save some money, you can do that through your local credit union, and they typically will have some better rates for you. Or maybe you want to start saving money through a CD and start getting a return on your savings. You can do that through your credit union as well. Or maybe even if you want to buy a car, typically some of the car loan programs that are out there and the financing for your car are going to be offered through your credit union. So I've actually had my kids open up their savings account with our local credit union because it helps them establish a relationship with a banking institution. So it is good advice to get started in banking with your local credit union. Now, when it comes to buying a house, it may be a different situation. There's some pros and some cons of using your credit union, and we'll discuss a few of them here. The biggest pro that you have is that established relationship. Again, when you think about rates and getting financing or getting a loan, it is built on an established relationship. That relationship will often get you the approval that you need in order to get the financing that you want. And so, yes, you should go where you're welcomed. You should go where you have a relationship already established. So nothing wrong in talking to your credit union about some of their home loan programs. However, one of the disadvantages of using a credit union is the fact that they may not have a lot to offer. When it comes to buying your first home, you really want to know about all the different programs that are out there and available to you, whether it's down payment assistance or FHA, whatever the case may be. You want to know what those programs are and how you can best utilize them, because oftentimes you're only a first-time home buyer one time. So you want to take advantage of the different programs that are out there. Your credit union may not have access to all these different programs. Every credit union is going to be different. So you should definitely talk to them and let them know what your plans are and just see what they have available to you. One of the other benefits of going through your credit union is oftentimes their rates could actually be better than what you would find from the bigger banks or from a brokerage. And the reason for that is because most credit unions are nonprofit organizations, meaning they don't need to charge their members exorbitant rates because they're not necessarily trying to get as much profit as they can. They want to be in business, they want to break even, obviously, but they're a nonprofit organization. So you're not going to get gouged on interest rates, and that can actually help you when it comes time to buying your first home. Another key point is that oftentimes credit unions have fewer fees in their financing and loan programs. So if you were to buy a house through a credit union, your home mortgage is going to have fewer fees than it would on a traditional loan from a big bank or brokerage. So yes, there are some money saving reasons as to why you should definitely check in with your credit union. Again, the interest rates are typically going to be lower, and you're going to have fewer fees to deal with. And so having that established relationship and taking advantage of that, there's nothing wrong with seeing what type of loan programs they do have available to you. Now, my advice to this particular client was to talk to them about the programs, but also talk to a brokerage to see what programs they have, and then compare the two. There's nothing wrong with having a conversation with both and letting them present to you all the numbers, all the fees, and all the details of the different loan programs that they have, and really compare apples to apples to see where you're going to find the best savings. When you're looking to buy a house, you're going to need to run your credit in order for somebody to really break down the numbers and give you an accurate quote on your rate. But when you do that once, you can actually do that multiple times within a 30 to 45 day window, and it will not impact your score. The inquiry will show up, but it won't hurt your credit score. So definitely take advantage of that. If you're going to talk to a brokerage and see what rates they give you and they pull your credit, then you should talk to your credit union, let them pull your credit as well, and be able to compare the two so you know which one has a better program that's fit just for you. Another thing to consider is that most credit unions will outsource the servicing of that loan. So this does happen on the broker and the big bank side as well, but just keep that in mind that just because you do an application and get a loan through your credit union doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to keep your loan and that you'll continue to have a relationship with them. They may go ahead and sell that loan and let somebody else service it, so you'll be working directly with a different company and not necessarily your credit union. And one of the last points to make about working with your credit union is the fact that they are typically pretty stuck in their box as far as credit qualification, meaning it may be a little bit tougher for you to qualify if you have challenged credit. They're going to have a standard and what most people call like an overlay, just to make their standard a little bit higher and a little bit more firm. So yes, if you work with a broker, they can typically find you a program that may work with your credit. You may be able to explain some things, but when you're working with a credit union, they're a little bit more stringent. If you don't meet those qualifications, they will not approve you. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're having some challenges or you're rebuilding your credit, keep in mind that a credit union is going to be a little more firm on what they're looking for. If you have any questions about the differences and you just want to dive a little bit deeper into finding a lender or broker that you can compare with your credit union, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can visit us on our website at homeownerprep.com/start. There you'll be able to access our ebook, take an online assessment, and even fill out a form where we can connect you with a lender in your area. If you just have a direct question or, a situation going on that you want a little bit more explanation on, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to us on our social media channels. We tend to get the majority of our questions on our Instagram account at Homeowner Prep. I hope this episode was valuable to you in helping you understand some of the pros and cons of using a credit union versus using a broker or big bank. But again, if you have any questions, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to providing you with some more great information on the next episode. And until then, be blessed. If you've enjoyed this show and got some great value from it, please be sure to rate and review. And if you're checking it out on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. That really does help us to continue the show and bring in some great guests to help you on your home buying journey.